Alright everybody, well it's 20 to 8. I've just had the pup out for his walk. I don't know what that kid was doing. I've just had the pup out for his walk. He's still a pain in the arse when he's out, you know, howling, snarling, growling, crying, screaming to get to other people or other dogs, you know. For whatever reason, best known to him, he doesn't seem to understand that not everybody wants to play with him or wants to pet him. So it's just like a palaver all the time, you know. So he's gonna have to get used to it. Anyway, I'll be taking him doing Cardiff next Sunday. Not Sunday coming, Sunday after. So good chance he'll be able to see his mother and his father. Actually, I would like to see how he compares to Dylan actually now in size, because over the last, I would say 3 or 4 weeks, he's just grown massive, you know. Diverted traffic again. These are taking a mickey, these ain't the council. Diverted sudden traffic. Hey. Well, so I've been to work today anyway. Done 2 jobs. Been pricing up stuff for another job which I had originally quoted for, but yesterday I went to the grave and I removed a load of the stone chippings which hid a massive defect. So I managed to get prices last night, and I've quoted the customer for minimum amount, but she's fully aware I might have to get something more, which she just says, if you need to get more, you get it. It's as simple as that. The grave itself, oh hey matey, come by. Just a learner driver. The grave itself is actually sinking in the middle of the grave, but it's what they call a sealed grave, concreted. Originally I thought somebody had just done it themselves and put flagstones on. It's not. They're actually concrete sections. The concrete section that's in the middle has snapped in half. Joggers, might be the gated harriers or something. The concrete in the centre is actually snapped in half, and it's formed a V, like a crater, but the soil underneath has sank right down. Which, we knew that. What we didn't know was that under that concrete there's a massive hole. But apart from that, it was supposed to have been 1 curb, 2 cornerstones. It's not. It's all 3 curbs and 3 cornerstones. But the bottom of the grave is identical. It's sinking as well. There's a hole there, so I've got to get the concrete off and then fill it up, whack it down. I'm gonna have to use like a mini whacker, because that ground needs to be compacted. It's really sank, so that'll have to be all compacted and then get it all sealed back up and everything. So I'm just pricing more and more stuff up what I may possibly need. I'm not saying I do need it, but it's always better to have your prices handy. Mrs. Magpie, if you're watching this, I sent you an email, I think it was not last week, the week before, about a customer, and you said what you thought, yeah, and the job was cancelled, yeah. I've only had a message back asking if I've still got all the stuff for that job. So I reply back, well, no, I'm using it on a different job. It's been paid for. Oh well, will you buy the stuff at the price that you quoted is, but maybe do the job October, November? So I put, unfortunately, I won't be buying any more materials for you. I bought them the first time, which was sort of against my better judgment. I certainly won't be buying them again. She went, all right, I'll get back in touch with you, sort of the middle of November, but we'll just keep the price as it is. I went, we're not keeping the price as it is. She went, but what if materials didn't gone up or whatever? I went, okay, that's absolutely fine. I went, but at the same time, there's going to be more work involved, isn't it? She went, how's that? I went, well, work it out. I says, your price was given to you nearly 5 months ago. I went, so what? July, August, September, October, another 4 months. I went, so you're talking 9, possibly 10 months after I've quoted you the price. You're not thinking weeds are going to grow, the roots are not going to grow deeper, there's not going to be more work involved. So she was adamant that there wouldn't be any more work involved. I went, look, I says, I'm not prepared to argue with you. I says, I've tried to help you once by buying the stuff. I went, then you turned around and you cancelled the job. I went, so I'm not going to give you that for the same price. If you want me to do that job come November, I says, you will pay whatever I quote, otherwise you find someone else to do the job, you know. I says, I'm not going to quote you today and you hold me to that for November when anything could have happened, you know. Not just the fact of weeds, you know, the ground could have sank or anything, you know. So I'm not going to be keeping to that price. If I can't keep that price come then fair enough, yes, but I'm not going to be held to ransom to that price. So Mrs. Magpie, you are bang on. Anyhow, I pulled over just to finish this bit. I'm actually at my allotment gate right now. I'm just gonna go in, feed me tomatoes, not then gone back home. So I'll probably add to this video when I'm coming off the plot again. Right, that's me finished doing the allotment. Didn't take long. You know, it was only what, and a few tomato plants and that. Got a few cherry tomatoes I could have picked, but I'll leave them tomorrow. Anyhow, if I come back to the other grave where I was telling you about, I was saying there's a lot of work involved. Yeah, I've got to take the curbs off on the cornerstones, which means the only thing I've got where I can work out all the angles is one cornerstone. You know, so obviously from that one cornerstone I've got to be able to set another cornerstone plus the curb, and then work from there across and then work backwards. So it's not as straightforward as what it sounds, you know, because if you start putting things in, or you start putting new footings in, I should say, sorry, new footings. If you put the new footings in, the new footings on the wrong place, when you come to put the curbs in, they're not gonna line up, or you're gonna have gaps, or the curbs ourselves, or the actual grave is gonna look as though it's all skew with. So you've got to have them set right. So I've got to set the footings out exactly the way I want them. Then on the left hand side, as you look towards the headstone, I've got to repair the footings there because they've crumbled and whatever, so I've got to pin them and then repair them. And then obviously I've got to make sure that them footings are level with the other side, because the side that's crumbling has started to drop. So obviously I'm going to have to build the height of it up slightly as well. Once that's all built up, and you kind of just use ordinary concrete for it, you know, because of the weight of the curbs. So once that's done, leave that to set. You can then set the curbs. Once the curbs and the curbstones are set, leave them again off. Once that's done, I can then start figuring out the slabs for inside the grave. Once I've done that, then I've got to set the headstone. There's a lot of old, what looks like to be cement, which I don't know if maybe somebody's had to go repairing it maybe in the past, you know, because they're not set on cement, you know. But it looks like somebody's put cement in. So I'm either gonna have to get some monument setting compound, lift the stone and reset it, or if I can, I'm just watching the traffic here, or if I can, I can just dress up the cement that's there. I'll have to have a look and weigh up what'll be the better repair, you know. It could be that when I'm saying that the headstone's not solid, it could be that the setting compound is loose, or it could be that the headstone isn't actually set on the footings properly. So once I get all that set, then cleaned, then I've got to re-letter it. So it's a challenge. Like I say, it's about, well, it's a minimum 3 days graft, minimum. You know, I could run into 4, could possibly run into 5, because once you make the concrete up for the footings, pour it down, leave it overneath. You know, I get you that you can use rapid set. The thing with rapid set is it can dry and crack. So when you're putting the weight of curbstones on it, you didn't want it to crack. So do it all properly, you know. If you can do a job, do it properly. Headstone needs re-lettered in gold. As you can see, the grave sunk in the centre. This curb is actually off its footings. The footings all crumbling down there. The corner for the cornerstone has broken away. The headstone itself isn't set solid. It all needs to be done. Well, it's definitely worse than what I thought it was at first. I thought it was just that end cap and this one, but it's not. This one's away as well, and this curb has actually moved slightly over to the right, so that curb needs to come back off as well. You can see how badly sunk the centre is, but the main thing is, let's see if I can show you. Underneath, the ground's all sunk underneath in the centre of the grave, but it's also sunk at the bottom end of the grave as well, so it's a lot bigger job than what I thought it was. It can still be done, but definitely bigger job than I thought it was originally. They've got roadworks going on just across the road from my house. They started last night, they're resurfacing the roads, but they're doing it like sort of new and through the pigging neat. Well, apart from the noise, like obviously you've got machinery, I don't know what they're using, but new, they've got a massive old steamroller effect thing. There's 3 diggers, couple of pickups, and then there's this, I don't know what this big thing is, maybe the thing that lays tarmac or whatever. But the annoying thing, apart from the noise, the whole place is lit up, you know. It's like they've got massive floodlight effect things, but I think they're what they call these daylight lights. So if you can sort of forget about the noise and put that at the back of your head, you've still got the light to contend with, keeping you awake. You know, it's only what? You'll be lucky if it's 100 yards away from my house, but sort of directly across, I look out my window. So I've got my street in a bit of a grass verge. Then you got the main road. Well, that's where they're grafting. So anyhow, I'm gonna go and have me tea. Spaghetti bolognese and garlic bread. Well, I'm not having the spaghetti, just the bolognese sauce with a garlic bread. What should do with a chocolate eclair? Maybe have a look on YouTube. Maybe just watch TV. Watching YouTube, I seen a video the day. Humble Dryer's last video, I believe. Obviously, I don't know if it will be or not. But he left a sort of a couple of remarks on the video by Paddy. And he left some for Decker's ex-manager. So I don't know if that's the last people will see or hear from Humble Dryer. I don't know. You've got Decker new. Instead of the fight with Danny, then Paul Venice, then it was the Fighting Trolls lad, Paul. Hey, he's looking quite healthy, isn't he? He's put the weight on and everything. But I seen a video last week that said the lad had passed away, because I was gobsmacked when I seen that video. But then obviously he's released a video since. Anyhow, he's looking well. But so Decker's moved on from him now to fighting this shadow boxer lad. Didn't really know much about him apart from thumbnails where I see he's got a conviction for rape or something like that. No, I kind of call the lad rapist or whatever, because I haven't sort of looked into it. I've just seen thumbnails, and I know what thumbnails are like on this sort of end of YouTube. You know, people just, well, for want of a better word, they make things up and they'll run with it, and then other people will see it and they'll run with it, and before you know, there's a load of shite gun run on YouTube, which is incorrect, totally untrue. So I'm not saying that this lad hasn't got a conviction, because I've seen loads and loads of different people commenting, so he has got the conviction. But I can't understand why Decker says he hasn't got convictions, this, that and that. And then it's like, well, why do you want to fight the other lad? It doesn't make sense to us, you know what I mean? As I say, there's loads of channels that I do watch, and they're sort of not on this sort of corner of YouTube at all, you know. As I've said previously, there's me allotment videos channels, there's car repair channels, and then obviously there's the ones that I've already mentioned, you know, the likes of Matt, Just Those Girls. I do watch Anne again. I do like Anne. We did have a falling out quite a while ago, but we made up, and I like Anne because she doesn't dwell on one subject. You know, where a lot of channels, it's one subject, it's Decker. You know, Anne moves about. She can from this to this to this to that. You know, these reaction videos, I've seen Bobby Dean them from The Real Honest Truth. I've seen Video Craig do them, and I've seen this other lad. Oh, I think he's only pretty new with his channel, Scotch Egg. He's doing them. Well, I've been trying to work with how to do them for the last month, 6 weeks. Bobby told us what to do to download this OBS. Well, I've looked at the YouTube tutorials. Can I hell get it to work? Bloody murder. Anyhow, I'm gonna go and get me tea. So, before I go, I got a nice message on Facebook tonight of a lady. I've never met the lady. We used to pass comments on other channels, on the lives, whatever, you know. Well, always got on quite well. And on YouTube, always nice comments between we. The ladies went through a bit of a rough patch over the last 8 months, but now I'm glad to see things are finally looking up for her. I'm not gonna name her. If she sees this video, I don't even think she's subscribed to my channel, to be honest with you, but if she sees this, she will know who I mean. I'm really glad things are on the up for you, especially health wise. Awesome, great news. Anyhow, you know who you are. If any of you are into what they call stealth camping, you know, you'll camp in the woods, or you'll camp in the centre of a roundabout, or behind a shop. There's a one called Blot Outdoors. I like watching him. I think his name's Chris. I do like him. He's just done a one camping at the back of begins with F. It's a prison up in Durham, Franklin. Camping around the back of there. But he also, apart from the camping, he does like a food review. He can say like 1-star places, takeaways, whatever. It used to be him and a little guy, little Mick. But no, he's got his wife doing it with him, and it's really good. He's totally honest. You know, if the food's rubbish, he'll tell you, but it's only his opinion of what he likes. If the food's nice, he'll tell you. But on his stealth camping, he does what he calls a whiskey review. Whiskey, but he calls it whiskey mandingos. I've been watching him for probably the last, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. He normally puts his videos on a Sunday night, but they're really good. So if you're into out like that, have a look at his channel. The Blot Outdoor Show, really good. Anyhow, I want to go and get me scran, so I'll catch you all later. Ta-da!